Once, the world ran on time, on schedules printed in neat, hopeful ink. The rails were veins, pumping the lifeblood of industry and connection across the land. The engines were friends, with names and smiles and purpose. That world is a ghost now, a memory that haunts the rust. The great cities fell silent, but the tracks remained. And on them, in the long quiet that followed the great fading, a new order was born, not of cooperation, but of consumption. The railway became an ecosystem, a brutal metal food chain, and at the top, a new kind of alpha emerged, not bred in a factory, but forged in the silent, hungry dark. They whisper his name on the night winds that whistle through broken boxcars. Choo Choo Charles. He is the end of the line. Our story doesn't begin with him. It begins with a heartbeat, a stubborn, rhythmic chuff, chuff, chuff that defies the silence. That heartbeat belongs to Thomas the Tank Engine. He is a relic, a blue and red memory of that gentler time. But he has survived. While others broke down or gave up, Thomas kept going. His purpose simplified, purified by loss. Protect the convoy. The last remaining trains, small and scared, carrying the precious glowing canisters of Gamma-9 energy, the only thing keeping the last flickers of civilization alive. He is their shepherd, and he knows, in the quiet corners of his boiler, that a shepherd must sometimes face the wolf. But Choo Choo Charles is no wolf. He is something evolution cooked up in a nightmare. A fusion of locomotive and arachnid, of grinding pistons and scuttling predatory instinct. His body is a tapestry of rust, scars, and stained metal. His eyes are not headlights. They are a cluster of red burning coals that see heat and fear. He doesn't patrol, he stalks. He feels the vibrations in the rails, tastes the scent of hot oil and ionized air from the gamma containers. He is always up there, in the forgotten industrial canyons, the crumbling trestle bridges, watching, waiting for the moment when the herd is most vulnerable. That moment is a night drowned in storm. The sky is a bruised purple, split by veins of lightning. The rain is a vertical river. Thomas is at the rear of the convoy, pushing them forward through a mountain pass, his headlamp a frail, swinging pendulum of light in the deluge. He feels the fear in the shivering couplings of the smaller engines ahead. He broadcasts a steady stream of reassurance on a short-band radio. Almost through the pass. Steady now. Steady. He doesn't see the shadow detach itself from the cliff face high above. He doesn't hear the click-click snick of metallic legs finding purchase on wet rock over the roar of the storm. Charles watches the convoy below. He doesn't see trains. He sees a chain of moving meals. But he is a smart predator. He doesn't attack the strongest. He isolates. He cripples. His target is not the lead engine, but the heart. The tender car carrying the spare gamma coolant, right in the middle. If that goes, the chain reaction would turn the convoy into a chain of green fire. He calculates to wind, the speed, the trajectory. His mandibles, massive hydraulic pincers, creak open. Thomas feels it first. A deep subsonic thrum that cuts through the storm's noise, the sound of Charles priming his terrible strength. Thomas's warning shout over the radio is lost in a crack of thunder, and then the world goes slow. Charles moves with a speed that belies his size. He doesn't leap down, he drops. He lands on the tender car with a cataclysmic crunch of buckling metal. The smaller engines scream in terror over the radio. Before anyone can react, Charles's legs spear out, not to puncture, but to grip. He wraps 4 legs around the tender car, and with a sound of screaming metal, he tears it free from the couplings. He holds the entire car, dripping with glowing green fluid, above the convoy. Thomas sees it all in the next lightning flash. The monster, crowned by the stolen fuel, a king of terror. Charles's red eyes seem to find Thomas's single headlamp. There is a moment of recognition. not of an enemy, but of a witness. Then Charles hurls the tender car not at the tracks itself, but at the mountainside itself. It explodes in a silent, blossoming sphere of green fire that paints the entire pass in eerie radioactive light. The shockwave hits. Engines are thrown from the rails like toys. The world dissolves into chaos, pain, and the hissing scream of escaping steam. When the green fire fades and the rain washes the embers away, the silence returns, deeper than before. The convoy is shattered. Thomas lies on his side, wheels in the air, a deep gash in his boiler weeping warm water. He is pinned under a twisted beam. He can only watch as Choo Choo Charles descends. The predator moves among the wreckage, not to finish them off, but to feed. A long proboscis-like tube extends from his undercarriage. He plunges it into the boiler of a whimpering engine. He hears the sickening slurp as Charles drains its vital fluids, its very life force. He feasts, and with each engine he drains, his red eyes glow brighter, his movements grow more vigorous. This is the cycle, the horror of the rails. Thomas is spared, not out of mercy, but out of disinterest. He is too damaged, his energy signature too faint. Charles, sated, scuttles back up the cliff and vanishes into the storm, leaving Thomas alone with the corpses of his friends and the crushing weight of failure. He lies there for hours as the storm passes and a cold, uncaring dawn breaks. This is his rock bottom, the end of everything he believed in. But a signal, faint and broken, reaches him, a voice on an almost dead radio. "Gamma, protocol, authorization. Thomas, do you consent?" It is the last signal man in the abandoned central control. He has seen everything via dead cameras. He is offering not a repair, but a rebirth, a weapon. The Gamma Protocol was the old world's last, most desperate project, to fuse a living engine with a raw gamma reactor, creating a living weapon. It was banned. It was madness. Every test subject had torn itself apart. Thomas looks at the wreckage. He hears the ghost whispers of the engines he failed. His eye, still blue, fixes on the horizon where Charles disappeared. In a voice cracked with static and pain, he whispers into the mic, "I consent." What follows is not a repair, but an unmaking and a reforging. They bring him to the Crucible, a cavernous, derelict research silo. They clamp him to a central platform. The machinery is ancient, ominous. The head scientist, a man who has lived too long with ghosts, speaks through a rusted intercom. The gamma energy will rewrite you at a molecular level. Your steel will become flesh-like in its flexibility, yet harder than diamond. Your boiler will become a fusion core. The pain will be existential. You may cease to be Thomas. Do you still consent? Thomas, clamped and helpless, gives one slow, firm nod. The injection is a universe of agony. It is not a fluid that enters him. It is an idea. The idea of pure, unleashed power that is stamped on his very soul. His steel doesn't just heat up, it screams, it bubbles, reflows, and reconstitutes itself. Plates of armor erupt from his frame like muscular growths, not bolted on, but grown. Thick cables of green energy, like glowing veins, snake beneath the new dark green steel of his hide. His face, his kind, familiar face, contorts, stretches, reforms into something more angular, more fierce. The final stage is his eyes. They fracture, the gentle blue lens shattering, and from within, two miniature gamma suns ignite, bathing the silo in their harsh emerald light. He lets out his first sound, a roar that is part steam whistle, part particle cannon, a sound that shatters every remaining window in the complex. He stands. The clamps fall away like tinfoil. He is no longer Thomas the Tank Engine. He is Thomas the Green Hulk Engine. He is power incarnate. And he is angry. The vibration of his first step is a seismic event. It echoes through the mountains, it travels down the rails, and far away, in his lair of bones and scrap metal, Charles feels it. He is digesting his feast, content. This new vibration is wrong. It is not the fearful tremor of prey. It is a challenge, a declaration of war written in pure force. Charles's red eyes snap open. He uncoils, hissing steam. The hunt is over. A new game has begun. Their first contact is not a battle, it is a statement. Thomas, now a towering green glow titan, purposefully thunders down the main coastal line in broad daylight. He is not hiding, he is presenting himself. Charles watches from a high bluff, confused. This is not how prey acts. Curiosity turns to rage. He scuttles down to a parallel track, matching Thomas's speed, a monstrous skittering reflection. They run side by side for a mile,